Today, I want to come to you with 4 executable steps that you can utilize to build a great high-performing team. This is the reason why in my insurance company, we have been able to achieve such high goals, such high results, and we're known in town because we are super efficient and because my team has done things that it takes 20 people when we are only 5 or 6 employees. I also want to bring you the steps that you can put in place regardless on whether you're a business owner and you're trying to build a team, or if you're an employee in a company and you're trying to build up a team for whatever department you work on. Now, before we start, I want to make something very clear. Some of the things that I'm going to be talking about today are things that you might have heard from other people before, because what I did in my entire life for everything, including this, is I found whoever had the most successful formula and I copied it into my life. So bear with me if you hear things that you've heard before. It's because I stole that information and I applied it to my own company. I'm not super smart to have come up with this magic formula, so bear with me here. Now, like I was saying before, my agency, I've been super fortunate that we have achieved things that agencies with 20, 25, 30 people achieve with only 5 to 6 people. We do the same for the most part as most agencies, but the reason that we've been so successful is because we have been able to find a team that executes every single day. And that's really hard. Usually people win for a year, but nobody wins consistently day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, let alone 5, 10, 15, 20 years. My name is Andrew Pizzi. I'm an investor and entrepreneur out of Las Vegas, and I want to welcome you to the AP Show, where I'll be focusing on how to build a great life around health, wealth, love, and happiness, which I believe are all needed in order for you to have a great life overall and not just in one specific area. I want to ask for 3 things from you, and then we'll get right into the content. Please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. That's huge for my channel. And then 3, please comment below with any thoughts on today's topic or any future topic that you would like me to review. First thing on building a team is hiring people to be a part of that team, correct? Here's the deal with this. There's a couple points that I want to give you before we jump onto the 4 steps. But for hiring, most people interview 1, 2, max 3 people, and then they just bring them on board. We interview 15 to 20 people to find one good qualified candidate. On top of that, in the interview process, I basically created a way for me to interview where I sit down with people and I have a conversation with them. Rather than an interview where you sit down and you ask like, okay, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And like, tell me about a situation with your old boss and like how you reacted. I'm not interested in getting to know that. I'm interested in getting to know who the real them is. So I sit down with them and I basically set clear expectations of who we are and who they are so we can see if we're a right fit for each other. Most people are going into an interview trying to trick you to get the job. In my interview, I make it very clear that we should both be getting to know each other so that you know if it's a right fit for you. Not if it's just a right fit for me as the company, but if it's a right fit for you and what you want for your life. One more thing that I can tell you on hiring and attracting the right candidate is if you want to have the attractive candidate that everybody wants, you must make the opportunity attractive for them. And it doesn't only mean good money. It means growth. It means a ton of things that you have to uncover during the interview for you to be able to provide what they're looking for. Everybody can go and make 70 grand. But in my company, it's not just about the 70 grand. It's about how the growth opportunities that we have. It's about multiple things that we offer at our agency that are just not offered anywhere else. So again, if you want to find and qualify attractive people, you must make the opportunity attractive. Another thing that I can give you is that if you want to attract qualified people that will fit into your culture, make sure that they know exactly from the interview point what your mission, your vision, your values, and your culture are made of. Because here's the deal, if you are talking them out of coming and working for you, they're going to try to talk themselves into working for you if they're the right person. If it's the right person, when I tell them, and this is like word by word what I say, we're a high stress, high producing, high expectation environment agency. Are you okay with that? And the person you can see in their eyes that they light up because that's what they want, then they're the right fit. But some people are just going to say like, well, I don't like cold calling. I don't like being put, a lot of pressure on, and that's okay. But that is the point where you make it super clear, where you almost try to talk them out of working for you. And if they come back, they're the right fit. So before I give you the 4 steps, I want to make one last point, and I promise you I'll jump into the 4 steps. If you don't have your why clear, nobody will. Make sure that you know exactly what your why is, why you're doing what you're doing. Why do you choose the career that you chose? Because again, if you don't have it clear, nobody will. And here's the thing, my why was pretty simple. My why was to create a better life for myself, for my friends, my family, and my team, whoever was going to be in my team. And by a better life, I don't just mean more money, but growth and teaching life skills that are not taught when you go and work for any other agency. Typically, they want you to be really good at sales, but they don't really care about your personal life. In our agency, every skill that you acquire is going to make you a better person overall, and not just in one specific area like the channel. I'm a firm believer that if you make a good team member in my office, you're going to make a good human being for society, and that's my goal. Now, let me jump right into the 4 steps. The 4 steps to do that, we're going to break down the word team. The first step, it's the letter T, which is training. The road for success is always under construction. The second that you assume or that you think that you don't need to train anymore, that your team is good, that they're solid, that they have been with you for a year, and you stop giving them training, is the second that you're going to fall. You always need to be in training. We're not asking ourselves when we sell a policy to do something that we haven't done hundreds of times before. Training is crucial. Like Kobe Bryant said, I'm prepared and I look calm and confident because I've trained on this specific thing thousands of times. So you want to make sure that you train yourself on how to be a good leader, but you also train your team so that they have the skills and the knowledge that they need to go kill it, because that's how you get confident people that will drive higher results and higher closing ratios into your agency. The letter E, which is step 2, is expectations. And here's the deal with this. You can't assume that the people that work for you should have the expectations clear. Make sure that you're reviewing it with them on a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis. There are people that 5 years go by and they assume that everybody should know what the expectations are. Make sure you're reviewing those all the time, because that's super important. Let me tell you something. The right person, if you have the right candidate, the right employee, their expectations of themselves are going to be increasing, and they're going to increase past yours if you have the right person. But make sure that you set the right expectations and that everybody knows what those are. The letter A is for accountability. And accountability comes from picking the right players that want to win and that want to grow, followed by clear expectations and metrics to follow. I'm a huge fan of that quote because it's so true. If you have the right players and you have the right expectations and you have the right accountability metrics that will follow, everybody's going to win. Let me tell you something about accountability, because it's not just some like saying, hey, you didn't hit your 50 applications or whatever the case may be. Is if their goals are the ones that you're holding them accountable for, it's going to be way easier than if it's your goals. If you tell me that 50 applications are going to make me 10 grand a month, and I want to make the 10 grand a month because I'm going to buy a house or whatever the case may be, it's going to be way easier for you to hold me accountable to making sure that I do 50 apps than if you wanted me to do 50 apps for your own selfish reasons as a boss. So make sure that you align the expectations that you have and you hold them accountable to them, but make sure that it's a piece that is so crucial is that it's their goals, not yours. The fourth step is M, which is mentorship. You as the leader of the company, you as the leader of the department, or you as the leader of your team, because again, this is not just for business owners, but it's for people, for whenever you want your team to win. So you as the leader have to have the mental toughness to make sure that whenever things get ugly and whenever things get hard, they don't see you freaking out. They see you with calmness. Let me tell you something, just like with kids, your team is watching you and they watch how you respond to situations. So make sure that you have the mental toughness to handle when things get ugly. Another thing is, like I was saying before, I want to build great people. And for me to build great people overall and not just in sales, I need to have a mentorship relationship with them. I need to make sure that I'm available, that I'm always there, and that I always study human psychology so that I know what buttons to push to make people perform. And again, this is not just trying to trick people. This is not a bad thing to do. This is understanding what drives them and pushing on those buttons. Now, let me tell you something. If you follow those 4 steps and you build a team on those 4 components, you're going to build a successful team. I can promise you that. Please do me a favor, go follow me on Instagram and drop any questions that you have related to this in the comment section or on my Instagram DM. I'll be happy to answer any questions, but let me tell you something. If you follow those 4 steps, you're going to build a dream team that takes double the people for other people to achieve what you can achieve with a good team. Most people don't want to put in the work. So let me tell you something. If you put in the work and you build a good team that performs, you won't have to spend as much money as other people do, and you won't have to go through turnover, which is when people leave you just because they don't have a good culture that, you know, they want to stay in. Like I was always saying before, if you want to win consistently, you're going to need a team. Everybody has in the insurance space the same leads, the same ways to write policies. It depends on the team that you build for the results that you get. As always, take care, everybody.